Welcome to RomWills Money Matters. Many brick and mortars need a vending operation. Many brick and mortars. Now, I've been talking about vending for the past couple months, and it's very important. But just because you have like that major store don't mean you stop vending. Vending is very important because one of the things that vending will do, you have a brick and mortar store, whether it's a restaurant, you still making that food that's good enough that people want to spend money, or a bakery, or you have a bookstore, something, whatever the case. Because I'm just thinking about the vending operations. I know they had a brick and mortar as well. Like I know of some bookstores especially. Yeah, they had their main store, but then they would also have something set up at a vending show. You want to do that for one simple reason: more customers. You advertising. So yeah, you have that brick and mortar, but regardless of where it's located, you want more people to come through. One of the things when you set up, you can get more people to come through. Or it could be whatever. You could be selling whatever product, or you could have like a hair salon. Like I've done a lot of hair shows. You have a barber. They'll be set up there, or massage therapists. They'll give you like a little quick back massage or something like that. They will have whatever. See, here's the thing: when you have a vending operation, it's very simple. You bring in more people. And I've known quite a few store owners who had a regular store. Because, see, here's the thing. You not only make money, but you advertise. Even if someone doesn't buy anything from you, you can give them a business card. They can find something. They can come back to your store. And I've known plenty of vendors. Over the years, I've vended at plenty of shows. I have known plenty of people who owned a brick and mortar. And in fact, sometimes they weren't even pressed about whether you buy something. Just take their business card. It's very important. Because think about it. Now, think about if, like in a month, let's say you do 4 shows. And, you had somebody to watch your store, or an employee or something. You can bring people back. In fact, there was one young lady, I met her at a vending show. She was selling some shea butter. Man, I love the shea butter, right? But one time I wanted some, I didn't even get any that time, but I went to her store and got it. See, that's like, you have your main location, but then you going around. And let's say if you get 5 people, just 5 people from each store, from each vending show, right? You do like a vending show every weekend, 4 vending shows, right? Maybe five, I don't know. But 4 vending shows, and you get 5 customers who get your card. They might buy something, get your card. That's 20 more customers. Depending on what you have, that's 20 more customers coming to your brick and mortar. And trust me, regardless of what business you're in, you got to think, is this helpful to me? Is this helpful? Because you don't know how much they will bring. And then also remember, and I've talked about this before, regardless of your business, the best advertising is word of mouth. So say you get those 5 customers at each of those vending shows, but then they tell one person each. All of a sudden you got 10 customers. So that's 40 people coming to your store that might not have known about it. See, that's the thing. Every brick and mortar, they need that to advertise, because business, the whole point of business is you got to get customers. You got to bring them back to your place. And you can make, and one thing when you're doing vending, you can make direct connections with some people. And that's very important in business. When you're making direct connections with people, and you sitting there, you talking with them, and then they come back, and then think about it. As long as you have a good product, especially if it's a product that people have to come back for all the time, it could be soap, shampoo, haircuts, books, whatever. They'll keep coming back. They can tell other people. All of a sudden, all from doing some vending shows. It's not even, and yes, you want to make your money back at the vending shows. Yeah, you want to make some money, but it's more about the customers. You want more customers. Don't be at that vending, like have that brick and mortar and feel like, well, this is all I need. And I know even if you in a place that has high traffic, like you in a mall or a street or wherever it has high traffic, you can get more. Because like I said, if you get 5 people from that vending show and then they tell someone else, in a month, maybe 20 people that come back from the vending shows, they tell somebody, that's 40. And it could really get more than that. And they can also let you know about other vending shows. And you can get customers coming back. You want them to return. But see, you can't do that. You're missing out on all those customers if you have a brick and mortar and you just working there and you just like, wow, how can I get more people? Because you want a brick and mortar. And this goes beyond the vending show. You want a brick and mortar where it gets crowded to the point you start thinking about another brick and mortar. See, that's another thing too. You want so many people, you're like, wow, I got to expand this business. I need to have another location. And you never know, and even then, even when you're doing the vending show, you never know when somebody might have a space, somebody might have another show for you, somebody might have something. But the main thing is, it's another place for you to advertise. It's another place for you to get customers. You want to do that. And like I've said, I've known plenty of people who had brick and mortar stores and they did just that. In fact, they would go to the vending shows, be chilling. I think about this one young man, he's selling mostly like shirts and t-shirts. I got some upstairs. And, he would be making a lot of money. He would be making, and he'd be at the shows just chilling. He wasn't worried about it because he already had his main thing. But they would have something else. And in fact, when I worked for this lady who had an African shop, she would do a lot of vending shows and people would come back and say, oh yeah, I saw her at this particular vending show. You want to do that. If you have a brick and mortar, you want to get into vending. You want to get into vending. And especially if regardless of what you have, whether you have products, whether you have food, because remember this week I said it's tough for restaurants, but depending on what you're selling, it might not be as tough. You might be selling a cherry pie and, you ain't charging crazy. And some of us like a cherry pie. You want people to come back, all right? So that's the thing. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Y'all have a good weekend and you know the deal. Let's go make that money.